The breakfasts you're used to could be linked to cancer. Which breakfast foods are particularly loved by cancer? And what is important to know before it's too late? Cancer doesn't develop overnight. It's not a coincidence, but often the result of long-term processes happening in the body, unnoticed. The most alarming part is that some foods you start your morning with could actually be fueling the disease. While you think you're just having your usual breakfast, cells predisposed to transformation are getting exactly what they need to grow. If you want to protect yourself, the first step should be to rethink your breakfast, not to reach for pills. Ruth, 72 years old, began her days for many years just like you and me. However, at 72, she started experiencing digestive issues, pain, and fatigue. When her test results came back, she received a diagnosis that took her by surprise. The doctor gently said, "Nutrition isn't everything, but it matters a lot." The first step was to reassess her breakfast. 6 months later, her mornings looked completely different, and her body began to respond with gratitude. The foods with a high glycemic index that we will discuss in this video are loaded with sugar, trans fats, and preservatives. They create an internal acidic environment, provoke inflammation, and accelerate cell aging. It is in such an environment that cancer cells find it easiest to divide and grow. Cancer cells, like any other cells, require energy, and they particularly thrive on quick, easily digestible foods that we're all familiar with. If the diet lacks fiber, healthy fats, and antioxidants, the immune system weakens, inflammation increases, and aggressive cells gain the upper hand. Breakfast isn't just the first meal of the day, it's a setup for everything that follows. It either supports your defenses or undermines them. But there's no need to worry, because the good news is that you can make a change as soon as tomorrow morning. You don't have to go on a diet. Just replacing 23 habits is enough to make your breakfast work for you instead of against you. Let's explore together which foods can reduce inflammation and nourish your cells with health, rather than fear. It's delicious, simple, and it's a path to protection that starts with the very first spoonful. Rate this video from 1 to 10 and share it with your loved ones. They'll thank you for it. 3 breakfasts that cancer cells love. We often believe that familiar foods are safe, but therein lies the danger. Breakfasts that many people have relied on for decades can quietly create the perfect environment for chronic inflammation and even cancer. What makes them particularly hazardous? It's especially dangerous when combinations include fast carbohydrates, sugar, trans fats, and a lack of fiber. This triggers a spike in blood sugar, insulin overload, increased acidity, and a decrease in cellular protection. So, what do cancer cells feed on? Unlike healthy cells, cancer cells do not need oxygen to generate energy. They thrive on glucose. The more sugar entering the body, especially in its processed, easy-to-digest form, the easier it is for these cells to grow. Morning is a time when metabolism is particularly sensitive. If you start your day with fast carbohydrates and artificial additives, the result is a sharp increase in blood sugar levels, a surge in insulin release, the creation of an inflammatory environment where the immune system temporarily weakens, and an increase in acidity that hinders the body's ability to neutralize mutant cells. This doesn't mean that having one toast with jam will cause illness. However, what's important to understand? Over the years, a repeated breakfast of white bread, sausage, and sweet yogurt can create an environment for chronic processes that lead to tumor growth. Here's an example. William, 70 years old, always ate the same way: bread with processed cheese, coffee with sugar, and yogurt for gut health. A light, quick breakfast. But in the last couple of years, he experienced fatigue, gastrointestinal issues, and weight loss. After a medical examination, there was suspicion of a tumor in his intestine. After the surgery, the doctor explained that while diet wasn't the only cause, it created conditions where healthy cells lost their strength, and weaker ones gained an advantage. Now, William starts his mornings with oatmeal, fresh berries, and warm ginger tea. "I feel like I'm giving my body a fighting chance," he says. Here are 3 common unhealthy breakfasts, and what you can replace them with. White toast with jam, plus coffee with sugar can be swapped for oatmeal with berries and a spoonful of honey, along with herbal tea with lemon. Yogurt with fruit. Pulsboxed muesli can be replaced with natural yogurt. A spoonful of seeds, the fresh fruit. Instead of sausage, processed cheese, and white bread, which contain trans fats, preservatives, salt, and artificial ingredients, try a boiled egg, a fresh green salad with olive oil, whole grain bread. Make your breakfast not just light, but nourishing, anti-inflammatory, and supportive. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to be mindful. Even one small change each day is a step towards helping your body feel safe. Here are breakfasts that protect us. Not all breakfasts are created equal. Some can trigger inflammation, overload the pancreas, and weaken the immune system. Others, however, act like a shield. They reduce oxidative stress, nourish our cells, and create an environment that prevents degeneration. These aren't special diets or exotic foods. They are simple, wholesome dishes accessible to everyone. The key is the right combinations and understanding why you're eating them. Breakfast can be your daily investment in protecting your body, especially against chronic issues, including cancer. What happens in the body after waking up? Immediately upon waking, cortisol levels rise. This hormone helps us get going, but can also trigger inflammation. If we start our day with sugar, processed fats, or nothing at all, inflammation can worsen. A breakfast made with the right ingredients helps to stabilize blood sugar levels, saturate cells with antioxidants, support the immune system, reduce inflammation, and kickstart a gentle, natural detox. What's particularly important about these breakfasts? Fiber, oats, seeds, fruits, nourishes gut microbiota and reduces inflammation. Omega-3 fatty acids, nuts, flax seeds, walnuts, combat cellular stress. Natural anti-inflammatory substances include ginger, turmeric, berries, and leafy greens. Natural probiotics consist of plain yogurt and fermented foods. Listen to what happened to Marina. Marina, 67, decided to completely change her diet after undergoing surgery to remove a tumor. Mornings became her internal pharmacy. Instead of sandwiches, she opted for oatmeal with blueberries and walnuts. Instead of coffee, she switched to ginger tea. 3 months later, she said, "I wake up and feel like I'm giving my body not just food, but strength." Doctors noted a decrease in inflammatory markers, normalized blood pressure, and improved sleep. And it all started with a simple breakfast swap. Here are examples of protective breakfasts that really work. Oatmeal with berries, walnuts, and a pinch of cinnamon reduces inflammation and stabilizes blood sugar levels. Whole grain toast topped with avocado and a poached egg provides healthy fats, protein, and B vitamins. A smoothie made with spinach, banana, water, and a tablespoon of chia seeds is rich in fiber, antioxidants, and magnesium. Natural yogurt, plus grated apple, plus flax seed supports gut health and improves digestion. Ginger tea with lemon and a spoonful of honey initiates a gentle detox, thins the blood, and alleviates morning tension. It's important not just to eliminate the harmful, but also to incorporate the beneficial. And this should be done not just once a week, but calmly and habitually, day after day. Consistency is key. It provides the body with the resources not just to survive, but to recover and defend itself. How do many people start their mornings? Many begin with whatever is at hand. Sweet coffee, a sausage sandwich, a yogurt dessert, fruits or pastries. It may seem trivial, but therein lies a concerning paradox. What we put into our bodies first thing in the morning can either kickstart the recovery process or lead to deterioration. This is especially true if the stomach is empty, and, as we age, the body becomes more sensitive. For those at risk of cancer, inflammatory processes, and acid-base balance disorders, such morning missteps can have long-term consequences. Listen to the state of the body in the morning. In the morning, the body is in a state of cleansing after the night. The blood is thicker, the stomach is empty, and the immune system is vulnerable. This means that everything we eat first thing in the morning reacts instantly with our internal environment. Here are some foods that are particularly undesirable on an empty stomach. Fruits with a high glycemic index, such as bananas, grapes, and sweet juices, sharply increase blood sugar levels, causing a spike in insulin and an acidic reaction. Sweet coffee or tea with milk and sugar on an empty stomach irritates the mucous membrane, disrupts acidity, and exacerbates inflammation. Yogurts with additives can lead to fermentation on an empty stomach, especially if the gut flora is weak. Baked goods cause a spike in sugar levels, overload the pancreas, and don't provide the necessary energy. The body perceives this as irritation rather than nourishment. The response can be inflammation, acidity, morning fatigue, dizziness, and, in the long run, a decrease in cellular protection. This was perfectly understood by the hero of the following story. Thomas, 71, believed he was eating healthily, a banana, yogurt, and coffee with milk for breakfast. However, complaints about heartburn, fluctuating blood pressure, and a strange heaviness became more frequent. After consulting with a nutritionist, he decided to replace his breakfast with warm lemon water, followed by oatmeal with berries and mint tea. Within a week, the heartburn disappeared, his morning sluggishness faded, and after a month, he found it easier to wake up and even reduced some of his medications. Now I understand. Not everything that is healthy is beneficial in the morning, he said. How should you start your morning? To truly energize your body and avoid underground stress, begin with gentle, warm, neutral, or alkaline foods that soothe the digestive system, nourish the cells, and prevent insulin spikes. Warm water with lemon, mild and diluted, kickstarts digestion and gently alkalizes the body. Oatmeal or buckwheat with berries, no sugar, topped with a spoonful of flax seeds or nuts. Poached egg plus greens plus whole grain toast. Herbal tea, mint, chamomile, rosehip. Smoothie with water, greens, apple, and avocado. Natural yogurt plus a bit of MDA plus a grated apple, 30 minutes after water. Attention! Important, don't rush. Allow your body to understand that it's not in a hurry or under stress. A body that receives the right breakfast won't crave sweets, caffeine, or snacks an hour later. It will be grateful, and you will feel the difference. Now let's talk about foods that help reduce existing inflammation. Cancer doesn't develop overnight. Its roots lie in ongoing, unnoticed inflammation at the cellular level, which can last for years. Stress, poor sleep, inactivity, and especially a diet high in sugar, trans fats, and chemical additives create an environment where healthy cells struggle to thrive. But there's another side to consider. What is it, you may ask? Nature has provided us with foods that reduce inflammation, nourish our cells from within, support DNA, and activate regeneration processes. These aren't medications. They are healing foods that work when consumed regularly with understanding and respect. Chronic inflammation isn't pain, fever, or an obvious illness. It's a state where the immune system is slightly irritated and cells are under constant oxidative stress. In this environment, mutations are more likely to occur, and the body's internal damage control systems function less effectively. But here's the good news. Anti-inflammatory foods can lower levels of C-reactive protein, a marker of inflammation, help the immune system calm down without weakening it, nourish mitochondria, the energy powerhouses of our cells, and promote tissue repair and cell renewal. Here are some key foods to include in your diet. I recommend writing them down. Leafy greens like spinach, arugula, and parsley, cold-pressed olive oil, garlic and onions as natural antiseptics and immune system regulators, berries such as blueberries, raspberries, and cranberries for their antioxidants and anthocyanins, fatty fish, salmon, mackerel, sardines, as a source of omega-3, nuts and seeds, especially walnuts, flax seeds, and pumpkin seeds, ginger and turmeric as natural anti-inflammatory agents, lemon and warm water for gentle detox and alkalization. Take Emma, for example. At 66 years old, she lived in constant anxiety after recovering from cancer. She feared that it might return. Her doctor advised her to reconnect with her body. She started small. Warm lemon water in the morning, a green salad for lunch, berries instead of dessert, and turmeric tea at night. After 2 months, her joint pain disappeared, her sleep normalized, and she regained her energy. It's not about perfection. It's about self-respect, she said with a smile, stirring vegetables with a spoonful of olive oil. For foods to truly aid in rejuvenation, it's not just about what you eat, but also how you eat it. Here are some simple recommendations to keep in mind. Add a handful of greens to every meal. Don't shy away from garlic and onions, especially in your evening dishes. Swap out sweets for berries and fruits with a low glycemic index. Instead of frying, try steaming, sautéing, or baking with olive oil. Have a spoonful of seeds or nuts once a day. Incorporate ginger and turmeric into your tea, porridge, or soups. Treat yourself to simple flavors, as your body loves what it knows. And most importantly, don't do it all at once. Start with one new food a day, added with love. Let your body feel that you're on its side, and it will start responding, slowly but surely. Do you know what the best friend of cancer is? Sugar. Sugar is one of the most insidious components of our diet. It's added to almost every processed food, and its taste is familiar and even comforting. However, it creates ideal conditions for inflammation, mutations, and the growth of malignant cells. Its effects are especially dangerous in the morning and when consumed with fats. For the body, especially after age 60, when metabolism slows down, sugar becomes more than just a sweetness. It turns into a risk factor that triggers destructive processes at the cellular level every day. Cancer cells have a heightened ability to absorb glucose, which serves as their primary energy source. Unlike healthy cells, they can survive even in low oxygen environments as long as sugar is available. Here's what happens in the body. A sharp spike in blood sugar after consuming sugary foods triggers the release of insulin, which promotes cell growth. Elevated sugar levels contribute to inflammation of the blood vessels and disrupt hormonal balance. Glucose and fructose are involved in glycation, a process that damages proteins and alters tissue structure. This leads to increased acidity in the body's internal environment, which creates a more favorable condition for mutated cells to thrive. Constant fluctuations in blood sugar can deplete the pancreas, leading to feelings of anxiety, fatigue, and a weakened immune system. Listen to the story of a woman who transformed her life. Sylvia, 73, struggled for years to give up her morning pastry and coffee with sugar. Even after being diagnosed with a precancerous condition, she continued her old eating habits. "I can't wake up without something sweet." It wasn't until her granddaughter showed her how sugar affects cells and suggested substituting desserts with baked apples sprinkled with cinnamon and honey that she decided to give it a try. A month later, her persistent headaches disappeared, joint pain decreased, and her blood pressure stabilized. "I no longer feel dependent," she said, holding a cup of ginger tea. Completely eliminating sugar is no easy task. However, reducing and substituting it is already a significant step toward better health. Here are some simple steps to get started. Replace sugar in your tea or coffee with a spoonful of honey, or even better, try to go without it. Most of the time, it's just a habit. Use cinnamon, as it lowers blood sugar levels and enhances flavor. Choose whole fruits instead of juices. They contain fiber and have a lower glycemic index. Prepare homemade desserts like baked apples, dates with nuts, or puddings made with plant-based milk. Cut down on hidden sugars by reading ingredient labels. Glucose syrup, maltodextrin, and sucrose are all forms of sugar. Eat more protein and fiber in the morning, as this helps reduce cravings for sweets. Remember, sugar cravings are not a sign of weak character. They are your body's way of signaling a lack of energy, care, and stability. The answer lies not in another cookie, but in providing yourself with deep, gentle support. How else can we help the body prevent a relapse? Listen carefully. After the age of 60, the body is not what it used to be. Recovery processes slow down, cell sensitivity increases, immunity weakens, and metabolism requires more support. If someone has ever faced cancer, even after remission or tumor removal, the body remains vulnerable. But here's the good news. Through proper nutrition, you can not only avoid harm, but actually reduce the likelihood of relapse, strengthen your cells and immunity, and enhance the body's resilience. Even after successful cancer treatment, the disease can return, not due to bad luck, but because of the internal conditions that allowed it to develop in the first place. The main goal after 60 is to avoid creating an environment where cancer cells can reactivate. Nutrition is the most direct and daily way to provide that protection. What helps? Eliminating chronic inflammation, maintaining an alkaline balance, ensuring stable blood sugar and insulin levels, protecting mitochondria, the energy stations of the cell, supporting gut microbiota, the center of immune regulation, reducing oxidative stress, free radicals. The key is not perfect nutrition, but consistent, nutrient-rich eating that avoids overload. This is a lesson our next heroine has learned for life. Irene, 74, underwent surgery to remove a tumor from her intestines. After her treatment, she felt exhausted and very vulnerable. Instead of strict diets, she chose a path of balanced and sensible nutrition. For breakfast, she has oatmeal with blueberries and flax seeds. Lunch consists of vegetable soup, steamed fish, and a salad with olive oil. Dinner includes warm sautéed vegetables and turmeric tea. 6 months later, she had her blood tests done. Her inflammation markers improved, hemoglobin levels rose, and her digestive system stabilized. For the first time, I felt that nutrition is not just food. It's a part of my recovery, she said, carefully serving herself a green salad for lunch. Here are the key products and approaches that are especially beneficial after 60 and for those at risk of recurrence. Make a note so you won't forget. More warm foods like porridge, soups, and stews. Gentle heat aids digestion and soothes the mucous membranes. Include vegetables in every meal, especially green, orange, and cruciferous varieties, like broccoli and cauliflower. Fermented foods such as sauerkraut, natural unsweetened yogurt, and tempeh. Plant-based fats like avocado, olive oil, and flaxseed oil. Lemon, ginger, turmeric, and garlic for gentle daily detoxification and anti-inflammatory effects. Berries and green tea for antioxidants and mitochondrial support. Limit sugar, red meat, and foods with unclear ingredients. It's important to remember, nutrition after 60 is not a punishment, but a resource. It's an opportunity to care for your body every day so that it serves you gently, steadily, and without anxiety. We've come a long way together. From anxious breakfasts that we unknowingly consumed for years, to conscious, nourishing choices that not only satisfy hunger, but also protect us at the cellular level. We've learned that inflammation is not a loud process, but a quiet, underlying threat. That sugar is not just a sweet treat, but fuel for disease. That every first sip, every bite sends a signal to the body. I care for you, or I'm ignoring you. And most importantly, we've seen how even the simplest steps, warm water, a spoonful of seeds, berries, greens, can spark significant changes. You don't need to change your entire life. Just pick one habit and start with that. Eliminate sugar from your morning tea. Swap a pastry for oatmeal. Add a handful of greens to your lunch. Replace your evening snack with an apple and nuts. Or simply drink lemon water first thing in the morning instead of nothing. The body is very sensitive. It responds to even the smallest acts of care. Every step you take is not just about food, it's about the internal feeling. I matter to myself. You might say, I'm too old for this. I've been eating a certain way for so many years. I can't give up sweets. But here you are, reading this text. You've already started to think about it. That means you've taken the first step. Nutrition isn't about strictness, it's about choice. And even if you don't succeed the first time, you can try again, whether it's the second time or the fifth. What matters isn't perfection. What matters is your intention. And don't let anyone scare you with words like cancer, inflammation, or sugar, because now you know what to do, how to support yourself, and where to begin. Start tomorrow, not on Monday, not on the 1st of the month, just tomorrow morning. Drink some water, make one mindful choice, and congratulate yourself for choosing health over habit. And if this message empowered you, pass it along. Share it with someone who still drinks coffee with sugar on an empty stomach. Someone who thinks that it's too late now. Someone who's simply tired. Let them know. Tomorrow morning can be the start of a different life, one that is calm, mindful, and fulfilling. Imagine it's morning. You wake up feeling light, no anxiety, no burdens or suffocating thoughts. Your body feels free. Your mind is clear. In the kitchen, you go through familiar motions. Kettle, lemon, greens on the plate. You're not chasing youth. You live in harmony with who you are. And in this morning, there is no fear. There's only you, care, and the feeling. I choose to live with love for myself, starting with the very first spoonful.